Hey guys, so I wanted to do a video today on the top 5 things that someone who is taking care of somebody with a physical disability or a chronic illness may want you to know but have a hard time communicating. My wife has chronic fatigue syndrome, and so this is a video that's really personal to me, and I hope you enjoy it.
Number 1.
So the first one I wanted to talk about is we hate saying no, but we want you to keep asking us anyways whenever you're inviting us out. There are so many times when, you know, we want to go to an event and we just don't know or can't predict how the person we're taking care of is going to feel at a future date. You know, there are going to be those times when, you know, my wife is going to feel great and we're going to go out, we're going to have a great time, and there are some times when, you know, as strong of a woman as she is, when she gets home from work or whenever she's just having a flare-up of her chronic fatigue syndrome, she is down for the count and is sleeping and is just aching and in pain all over, and we really can't predict what's going to trigger that or not. So we've had to cancel a lot of plans on people, and we have an amazing group of friends and family who have just constantly kept inviting us no matter how many times we've canceled, and that means so much to us because this kind of disease can make you feel very isolated and alone, especially when you get home and she has to immediately lay down just because she's in so much pain and has to go to sleep because her body's just shutting down on her. And so doing that months on end can get very lonely. And so, you know, whenever we do get the opportunity to come out with anyone, we always want to take advantage of it. So that's the first thing.
Number 2.
If you plan activities that are appropriate for both of us, we will love you for it. One of the things as caretakers we have to do is we always have to consider whether this activity is going to have taken into some special considerations, what kind of things we're going to have to plan for or pack with. One of our favorite activities that Audie and I love to do is going hiking and going to the zoo, which, as you can imagine, with chronic fatigue syndrome is very difficult to do. So when we have friends that take the time to make those considerations and plan, that takes so much pressure off of me, but also having the understanding that we may have to cut that trip short or that activity short is a major blessing for both of us.
Number 3.
We do need help, but maybe just not in the ways that you think. We have so many, as I've mentioned before, friends and family who just have an overwhelming amount of support for us as Audie's been, you know, handling this chronic fatigue syndrome, but not all the help, they know really how we need to be helped at that time. And some of it has even been kind of poorly timed. And this is a super tough subject for me to bring up because, you know, when you say, oh, thanks, you know, for bringing us that meal or doing this or that for us, but we would have rather you helped this way, that's a terrible thing to say. And so right now I'm not talking to anybody directly who has ever helped us, but just so you know, if you're wanting to help out somebody who's taking care of someone with a chronic illness, it is the best thing you can do is just ask them, how can I help you? What's the biggest need you have in your life right now? That's the single greatest question I've ever been asked at that time.
Number 4.
This next one, guys, is something that I don't think that I would have known about unless I had gotten the opportunity to walk through this chronic illness journey with Audie. But one of the biggest ways that you can bless both the caretaker and the person who is dealing with a chronic disease is sending encouragement and uplifting, you know, thoughts and prayers and words to that person who is handling the disease directly. You know, Audie does an amazing job of, you know, really reaching out and relying on you know, faith and her own strength of will to keep her, not only her physical needs taken care of, but also her morale. And I try to help her with that as best as I can. Obviously, as her husband, I love her to death, and I want to help her out. And when I ever have somebody who comes alongside me and helps me do that, that is one of the biggest blessings that you can offer someone like that.
Number 5.
Alrighty, guys. So this last one, it's a little bit of a touchy subject, but one of the those that, especially when you have a chronic illness that doesn't really manifest itself in a lot of visible symptoms, is just because those signs of those physical symptoms you can't really see very well are not there, that doesn't mean that they're not affecting her, you know, in an extreme way. You know, my wife is an incredibly strong woman, and you may not know that she's on the inside of her whole entire body hurts. She could just keel over and fall, just fall asleep right there where she is, just because her body is so worn down. And so the people who have taken the time in our lives to understand what she's going through and read up on chronic fatigue syndrome and how it makes a person feel, and understanding and being able to recognize that is just like within the last number that I said, is a huge bonus, because it uplifts her morale, as well as just making it to where she knows somebody else out there understands what she's going through. Alrighty guys, so that was my list. Let me know if there was anything, you have any thoughts on any of the ones I listed. Let me know if you think I missed any of them, and any ones that you may have added to my list as well. I would love to hear from you, as well as just be able to encourage you if you're going through something similar or could relate to any of these. Be sure to like and subscribe to the video below, and you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/oldsoulmillennial. I hope to see you guys there, and feel free to reach out to me anytime if you have any questions. Love you guys.